A little binge watching. It's amazing that it's so accessible with Netflix. I know. Did people watch it anywhere else? DVDs. DVDs. Yeah. Oh, Pokemon TV. Right. Right. Anyone have a question? Vamp a little bit. Yes.
What is your favorite Pokemon game?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I've only played 2 Pokemon games.
The video games or the card game. I mean, there's only one card game.
Yeah.
I've never learned how to play card games, but it seems very confusing. To be fair, I have not tried.
Yeah.
So the idea of it seems very confusing, but I would like to learn it. I've only played Fire Red.
Same. We own a Fire Red.
Yeah.
And we have alternated using it on our DS.
So again, that's my favorite fighting.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a board game, but now I want that. Yeah. Is there really Monopoly?
I think there's like different board games of like Pokemon editions. I might be wrong, so maybe go fact check that. But
We'll just play around. You know what would be great? Did Shoots and Ladders? Did anyone ever play that game?
No.
That's kind of like Pokemon, where you gain and then you lose and then you gain. So we should just put
the old Pokemon Monopoly from the 90s.
I don't know if I knew there was one. What are you buying? What are you
I don't know. I've had it since I was a little kid, so I don't know where my parents got it.
I love it,
Wow,
but
maybe in Monopoly you're buying like treats and potions and stuff.
I don't know.
You know? Pokemon.
We have to explore that. No, you can't
Or
buy
maybe
it.
when you live a fun set buying it.
You, or maybe instead, or you're at a or something.
Yeah, that could be.
These are all great ideas that we can trademark. We also have Pokemon Go on our phones, but we play that sometimes. I'm level 8 last time I checked, so I always don't play it enough. Or I'm really bad, which is the other thing.
We don't want to get into that.
No, we shouldn't do that either. I'm not a very good trainer. Any other questions at the moment? Yes.
So when you were sailing with Pluto, did you want to be any of the other Sailor Scouts, or was that one you wanted to watch?
So I moved to Los Angeles where they were recording the show while they were already in process of it. So, which I didn't even know. And I don't know, by some miracle got an audition for a few, like I remember Chibiusa and Pluto, and maybe a couple other characters. So I actually never thought about who do I want to play. I was just really happy to get cast in it, quite honestly. Pluto I love. I think she's kind of the Doctor Who of all of the Sailor Scouts. And I love that she's such a deeply emotional person on the outer regions of the show even. So I don't know, I really love playing her. Who doesn't want to be Sailor Moon? So, I mean, I can be honest, I like to have all of the lines and all the action, but Sailor Pluto is a really cool character to play. So
We played some other ones.
Scar. I have played smaller characters throughout. Smaller meaning they're only in one episode. Like Scar. I don't know, she's a woman who gets capturing people with her long scarf. And she would say, Scar, Scar. And then I think she really should have been saying, Scar, Scar. Really strange. Anyway, I love Sailor Moon because there's so much about friendship and really working together, and there's all these weird characters in it. And I'm very happy to have gotten to play a few of them. Those weird screaming banshee type things that fly through the air. So that's been kind of cool. But Scar was Scar. I think that's her name. I don't know. She was pretty great. So a lot of my career is I go in to play one character and end up playing something else. They're like, oh, maybe you could play this, or you know. So that one, for instance, is one that I just happened to get that day. Many of the shows, there's no advance notice, and you certainly don't have rehearsal time. So I don't remember them all as clearly because I just pop in the middle of doing other jobs that day and do that, really focused, and then I leave. So sometimes if I don't write down the name of the character, the name escapes me. So it's not that I don't care at all. I really love it. Anyone?
I have one little question.
Uh-huh.
I read somewhere on the internet that you were once approached to record the voice of Flounder for an unreleased Jim Henson version of adaptation of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Is this true?
I wish it were. No, that's an amazing story that I've never heard even.
On like IMDb regard.
Yeah. No, but wow, from your mouth to Disney's ears.
Yeah, let's go. I think we should stand for this.
How about that, right? Yes, I've turned down so many Disney movies. No longer. I didn't have any time for it. I was against seafood at the time. That would be so cool. There's a lot of stuff even on my IMDb or Wikipedia stuff that other people have put on that I haven't been able to change. So it is always good to ask. And I'm always happy to answer those questions. I would not have turned down that role. But the person who plays Flounder, which I don't know that actor or actress's name off the top of my head, I certainly wouldn't want to take it if they were still playing the character. But, gosh, wouldn't that be great? No, it's unfortunately not true. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for enlightening my life sounds so much better. Yeah, it's like I couldn't even have dreamed that, but now perhaps I will. Yes.
Who's your favorite character that you played?
Yeah, it is a good question. I have played many characters, and I have narrated many audiobooks, and I've played so many cool people. So there's something I love about everyone, but I think if I had to pick, Ash Ketchum would be one of my all-time favorites because I got to play him for 8 years. I got to really know the joy and the positivity and the commitment that Ash has. Yukino, in His and Her Circumstances, one of my favorite characters. She too was very full of life. Amelia from Slayers. Gosh, I don't know. Max in Dinosaur King. I love dinosaurs. He sounds like Ash. No, what's not to love? But there's a lot of them. Manuela from the video game. Yes, from that. I love her. She's the craziest, most over-the-top character I've gotten to play in a long time. So I love that. Yes.
Did you do an action character?
Oh, hey you guys, it's awesome to be here at Fan Expo Boston! It's weird in a mask, I have to say. I mean, we all are wearing this, you're just like sucking in air. I don't know. But, yeah, it is, yeah. Yes. In what is the name of the show? So I'm Ash in the first 8 seasons of Pokemon. And Indigo, Johto, Owen, Kanto, I think. Yeah, when we were recording the show, it was all one big journey. So I don't think I was really aware of the regions till after, like now, actually. But yeah, the first 8 seasons, so the first 8 movies, and then all the episodes in those seasons. And then we were replaced when Pokemon USA took the show. So they basically said they didn't need any of us anymore, and we were all let go. So none of us chose not to go on with the show. So it's kind of a sad time. But that was their decision. So that's why I'm not on it now. Yes.
So since you've done so many different characters, and it's been a few years since you've done so long, is jumping back into the voice of all to you sometimes for family, voice you've done for people, or?
Yeah, for most characters, I have an idea of the placement, and sometimes I have a line that can pop me back into the voice. Oftentimes, the studio will have a little bit, a reference, essentially. So if I hear the reference, I can pop back into the voice because I remember why and how I placed them in a certain place. So for Ash, for instance, his voice, so Ash, Ash is here, and it's back in here. So he's kind of this energy where Amelia from Slayers, she's up here, and so my whole energy is like here. And so things like that where it all shifts. Delia, for Ash's mom, is, don't forget to change your underwear. She's going to here. And so she has a grounding to her also, but I can figure out where the range goes, you know? So I don't dare say, those three voices, for instance, are just I kind of know where they are because people ask me about them more often than others. But when I go in to record, I always ask for the rep because I don't want to suppose or assume that I remember exactly where we were when we left off. Even Sailor Pluto I've been doing recently, Manuela recently, I still ask for a reference. So for that. Because also there's so many things that go in between. Like in an audiobook, for instance, you're narrating and doing all the voices. So when I'm in the middle of a book, I have it all written out where the voices go. And then when I have to go back to that, I still listen to the reference for those voices. So sometimes you have 20 people who recur in a series, and I always go back over those before I do the next book in the series. Just to kind of get back in that whole world. With a cartoon, you only have to do one character, or two. So it's easier in a way. Bless you. Yes?
So how did you get to be April and?
Oh gosh. April, when I worked on Ninja Turtles, 4Kids was the company that was doing it at the time. So I had already been working on some other shows for them, working on Pokémon and Yu-Gi-Oh! By the time we did Turtles, maybe we had done Fighting Foodons, maybe we'd done some Shaman King then. So I was already in the rotation of auditioning for things. So I got to audition for April. And then for most jobs that I had, you audition, you get called back. Sometimes you get called back several times. Like in a callback, they basically ask you to tweak things, to do it a little bit differently so they can see what your range is, if you're right for what they're really thinking, and then how your voice is melding with the other ones that they're starting to choose. So I don't remember if I had more than one callback or not for April, but I do remember finding out that I was cast and how excited I was because Sue Blue, who was the director in California, was directing our show in New York. So we worked with her over the phone. And it felt like a real cartoon because she directed so many shows. And to get a chance to work with her, along with the directors at 4Kids, and we had all of the storyboard artists were in-house. So I could walk in the office next door and see everybody drawing, and it was an incredible, incredible experience. So the short answer is, it was luck because I was in the right place at the right time for that. It was amazing, really amazing. Yes?
What's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Well, I think April would say Donatello because they have a lot in common. They're both super smart and good with computers. I love Michelangelo. I think he's the most fun. And
I know, he's the most Ash-like in a way, and just kind of goofy, so he's my favorite. Do you have a favorite?
My favorite is either Michelangelo or the one with the steel mask. I forgot her name.
Leonardo? Is that?
No, there was another one in one of the movies, but Michelangelo, Leonardo, or whatever the one with the steel mask.
Right.
I still can't tell if I was making up the steel one or not. No one knows what I'm talking about.
I don't actually remember which one has which color, so I'm not very good with that. Because also I watched the show, but when we recorded it prelay, which is you record it like a radio show, and then they draw to that. So it would have been great if the guys were wearing their colors in there, then I would have probably known it.
I know that Michelangelo is orange, Donatello is purple, Leonardo is blue, and then Raphael is red.
Red, that makes sense, because he's pink.
We had at my university, at the library, all the printers were named Michelangelo Donatello.
Really?
Yeah, it was interesting to see who was like, oh yeah, the Ninja Turtles, and then who was like, oh yeah, like the famous artist.
Yeah.
Always. Some people would be like, oh yeah, the Ninja Turtles, obviously. And then other people would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Favorite artist. Anyway, it was always super funny. And I never connected the dots until
Really?
no, because I knew them all separately, but I never thought about it that moment.
Right.
Honestly. Now, but then the printers started to
Your whole world changed.
totally life-altering
Yeah.
situation.
And did you use the printers?
And that is why I went to college.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I used them all. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Michelangelo, I think, was my favorite.
Printer?
Yes.
Do you play Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go? Yes. Do you play
A
it?
little bit.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. The idea that you can just open your phone or turn it on and see Pokemon all over the place, it's one of the greatest inventions.
I tried playing it in the car as a passenger, not loving but it's very hard to try and catch things on the move. I was gonna say no, but
Yeah. That was in the very beginning. We did a convention in Trinidad before Pokemon Go got there, and we had the app already on our phone, and when you turn it on, everything was just blue, and your trainer was standing there, just looking around, but there was nothing there. It was really cool, actually. And then we came back to the US, and boom, there it was. And so we would drive around, and Rena would be going like, turn here, turn there. It was pretty fun. And then, I don't know,
it drained our battery really
that's
fast.
the thing.
Yeah, so it was kind of hard to keep going. It's hard being a trainer sometimes.
It is hard. I think it's hard, right? The right shoes, the right devices. I know. Remember back when Pokemon came out, and we were all like, "Oh, Pokédex," and now we basically have that as our phones. I mean, it's really. Yes. Pikachu is actually my favorite. Ikuo Itani, who plays the voice of Pikachu, is one of my favorite actresses. And what she can do just saying the word Pikachu is extraordinary. So I can watch all episode after episode just listening to Pikachu and being completely content. And so spending so much time as Ash with Pikachu also makes Pikachu my favorite. But
My favorite is Charizard. Thank you. I've thought a lot about this, and it's the best option for me and my lifestyle.
Practical.
Yes, because we always live in a busy city, so whether it's like New York or LA, you always need to get somewhere fast, and I am consistently running late, as we all know from today.
I am too.
So having a flying Charizard or a flying a magic carpet. I was going to say a flying blanket, and that would be really lame. Anyway, so it would be really great because then you could just fly over all the traffic. And if you're lost in the woods, A, you can just fly out. Or B, you have a fire. So you're always going to be safe. And yeah, and it's just the greatest ever. So
that's my favorite. I think it's good. We'll go with you in the back and then you in the center.
I was gonna say, the fireworks were all
Oh my gosh, destructive. Wow, I never thought about that.
I've always thought about it in terms of like
Practical.
yeah, the
Yes.
worst part is the person there.
But we live in very small apartments, so that really isn't the best, unless it lives on the roof.
Yeah, you put something outside and it's just like flying
Yeah.
outside of your window.
To exercise.
Yeah, you can get one of those like dog leashes that are like you can just have that.
We thought a lot about it, but I never thought about burning the cars.
No. Or you could use wind from the wings.
It
Right?
can control wildfires, actually, to keep the fire in one place, and then you get the squirrel squad, yeah. Pokemon to solve the world's problems. Yeah. Yes, you always have to.
Did you get to voice any Pokemon?
Yes, yes, Diglett. We both did Cedric, when Reno was very, very tiny. Goldeen. That might be it. To be quite honest, they wouldn't let me play any of them, so I didn't play many, but I probably filled in some along the way. But yeah, Diglett's pretty cool. I recently found out it was a mole. I always thought it was a worm. I played it as a worm. I know. So that was tough for me to find out recently. Yes. Isn't that right? They read the Pokémon handbook. We have one on our shelf, but we have not studied it. Yes. Save me with your question. Yes. Yes. You, the green. Green, yes. You in a mask.
I think if Pokemon were like in real life, it would be hard to. Yeah, that's true. It's hard work. That's true, but you know what? I think if they were in real life, they could go to Andrew Management class. I think we could make it work. You know, they would have to learn how
Just
to
like
control
siblings.
themselves.
Yes. You would have to. Pikachu is very stubborn, so
But if there was a power outage,
yeah, bring it back. Yeah, the electricity, exactly. There's a lot of
what if
solutions.
like Pikachu was around in
Do you mean Benjamin?
What if the two of them met?
I don't know what would happen. We have electricity now. I don't know.
Anyway, think about that.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you were playing Ash and May in the same scene, did you feel like you were like talking to yourself or just two characters at the same time?
Well, I think, first of all, as an actor, it's great to talk to yourself when you have all the lines. But I think that I actually separated it out in my head because with Pokemon, we were watching the picture and matching the lip flap. So the wonderful thing is we did all the Ash lines through the episode. and then went back and did May or Ash's mom or whatever else. And so to have the scene, then I as May would hear Ash's lines and be able to answer. So I didn't really think about it like, hey, this is a scene with myself. It was more like I could really play May because she was bouncing off with Ash. So it was really great because for the most part, none of us heard the other characters in the scene ever. A lot of times you're just responding to nothing. So you're just zooming through the script and kind of reading through to see what people are saying to you and then responding in a way that you think is appropriate. But at least if you've already recorded the other character, you can respond to someone. So that was pretty great for unselfish reasons. Bye guys, thank you for coming. Great talking to you. Yes.
One more question right here. Let's see. Was there ever like any particular recording session you remember when you were like laughing so hard in between takes it was tough to keep doing them?
There must have been those. we didn't have a lot of time to goof off, but there were some things that were so funny or so hard to say, especially for some Pokemon names that they weren't sure what it was going to be. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. It was, yeah, there were things that we would laugh a lot. But you had to really pull it together and keep moving because we were paid by the hour and they did